5th June every year is celebrated as World Environment Day, but environment cannot be considered in isolation. Hello friends, this is Soumendra Naik and today I am going to talk about a topic which is related to environment conservation, that is sustainability. When we talk about the word sustainability, many of us consciously or unconsciously talk about a slightly different aspect of it. Some might be considering about the environment and its conservation, whereas there are people who might be considering its impact on the society. There are still many others who would be considering the economic well-being of it. So now sustainability is a very fine balance between all the three. Let me put it in a very transparent way with the shape of three lenses before you. The first lens that I would use here is finitude. We live in a planet that has finite resources, but when it comes to the usage or utility of those resources, we use them unlimitedly, thinking that there is no existence of finitude. And if at all there is any existence, our advancement in technology would solve that. Let me substantiate with an example here. So considering the example of water, so almost 70% of water is diverted for irrigation in agriculture. In a country like India, where we have more than 43 million hectares of rice, even 85 to 90% of water gets diverted into irrigation. So now somebody may argue, why do we consider water under finitude since it is a renewable resource? So now the answer to it is very simple. So the ratio of replenishment, if it is slower than the ratio of consumption, then obviously any resource would fall under the aspect of finitude. Now let me put forward the second lens before you. The second lens is about fragility. To define fragility, it is the vulnerability of the system and how the system responds to any kind of shock. So in this case, the system is our planet or our ecosystem. So now if there is a small shock, the planet has its own capacity or the system has its own capacity to bounce back and heal itself. But if this small shock is followed by a series of shock, or rather there would be some very severe shocks coming one after the other, then the system loses its elasticity to bounce back and it cannot heal itself. Carrying forward the same example of water, if there is little bit of pollutants which get into a river in its due course, which is very dynamic, has the capacity to heal itself or purify itself. But as we go on adding industries after industries on the river bank and discharge our effluents into the water of the river with numerous industries in advanced, so what happens is there is a certain threshold when the river actually loses its capacity to bounce back or purify itself. Now coming to the third lens that I would put before your eyes is the lens of the fairness. So when we talk about fairness, fairness is nothing but how much resource is being shared by how many organisms. So just to give the same example of water, so here there are certain villages where people are denied of their rights to the local water bodies because those water gets diverted into big cities nearby. Is that due to the reason because the city dwellers are paying taxes? Is it fair on that part? So now we cannot consider these all aspects unless we see all the sustainability through all these lenses. So now it's not about when you talk about fairness, it's not just about sharing our resources equitably between all human beings, even with all our other organisms that dwell or co-inhabit along with us on this planet. So my dear friends, so if at all we have to see this word sustainability through all the three lenses of finitude, fragility and fairness, then only we'll be in a position to maintain this fine balance between ecology or environment, society and economy to accomplish our goals under sustainability. Thank you very much.